Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dhena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhaktavinda. After accepting the sannyas order of life, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of intense love for Krishna, wanted to go to Vrindavan. But apparently by mistake he wandered in the Radha Desh. Later he arrived at Shantipur and enjoyed himself there with his devotees. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Prabhu, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, headed by Srivas. At the end of his 24th year, in the month of Magh, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the sannyas order during the waxing period of the moon. After accepting the sannyas order, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of intense love for Krishna, started for Vrindavan. However, he mistakenly wandered about in a trance continuously for 3 days in the tract of land known as Radha Desh. Purport: the word Radha Desh comes from the word Rashtra, or state. From Rashtra, the corrupted word Radha has come. The part of Bengal on the western side of the Ganges is known as Radha Desh. Another name is Poundra Desh, or Pendo Desh. The word Pendo is a corrupted form of the word Poundra. It appears that the capital of Rashtra Desh was situated in that part of Bengal. Passing through the tract of land known as Radha Desh, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited the following verse in ecstasy. Please repeat. Etam sa astaya paratmanishtam adyasitam purvatamar maharajibhi aham tarishyami durantaparam tamo mukundangri nisheva yaiva. As a Brahmin from Avanti Desh said, I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nations by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. This was approved by the previous acharyas who were fixed in firm devotion to the Lord, Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: in connection with this verse, which is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:23-57, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the 64 items required for rendering devotional service, accepting the symbolic marks of sannyas, is a regulative principle. If one accepts the sannyas order, his main business is to devote his life completely to the service of Mukunda, Krishna. If one does not completely devote his mind and body to the service of the Lord, he does not actually become a sannyasi. It is not simply a matter of changing dress. In Bhagavad Gita 6.1, it is also stated, Anashrita karma palam karyam karma karotiya sasanyasi cha yogi cha. One who works devoutly for the satisfaction of Krishna is a sannyasi. What's a sannyasi? Correct. The dress is not sannyas, but the attitude of service to Krishna is. The word paratma nishtam means being a devotee of Lord Krishna. Paratma, the Supreme Person, is Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sakchidananda Vigraha. Those who are completely dedicated to the lotus feet of Krishna in service are actually sannyasis. As a matter of formality, the devotee accepts the sannyas dress, as previous acharyas did. He also accepts the 3 dandas. Later, Vishnu Swami considered that accepting the dress of a Tridandi was paratma nishta. Therefore, sincere devotees add another danda, the jiva danda, to the 3 existing dandas. The Vaishnava sannyasi is known as a Tridandi sannyasi. The Mayavadi sannyasi accepts only 1 danda, not understanding the meaning of Tridanda. Later, many persons in the community of Shiva Swami gave up the Atmanishta, devotional service of the Lord, and followed the path of Shankaracharya. Instead of accepting 108 names, those in the Shiva Swami Sampradaya follow the path of Shankaracharya and accept the 10 names of sannyas. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the then existing order of sannyas, namely Ekadanda, he still recited a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam about the Tridanda sannyas accepted by the Brahmana of Avantipur. Indirectly, he declared that within that Ekadanda, one danda, 4 dandas existed as one. Accepting Ekadanda sannyas without Paratmanishta, devotional service to Lord Krishna, is not acceptable to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In addition, according to the exact regulative principles, one should add the Jiva Danda to the Tridanda. These 4 dandas, bound together as one, are symbolic of unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. Because the Ekadandi sannyasis of the Mayavad school are not devoted to the service of Krishna, they try to merge into the Brahman effulgence, which is a marginal position between material and spiritual existence. They accept this impersonal position as liberation. Mayavadi sannyasis, not knowing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a Tridandi, think of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an Ekadandi sannyasi. This is due to their vivarta, bewilderment. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no such thing as an Ekadandi sannyasi. Indeed, the Tridandi sannyasi is accepted as the symbolic representation of the sannyas order. By citing this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the sannyas order recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam. The Mayavadi sannyasis who are enamored of the external energy of the Lord cannot understand the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To date, all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu following in his footsteps accept the sannyas order and keep the sacred thread and tuft of unshaved hair. The Ekadandi sannyasis of the Mayavadi school give up the sacred thread and do not keep any tuft of hair. Therefore, they are unable to understand the purport of Tridanda sannyas. As such, they are not inclined to dedicate their lives to the service of Mukunda. They simply think of merging into the existence of Brahman because of their disgust with material existence. The acharyas who advocate the Daiva Varnashrama, the social order of Chaturvarnyam mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, do not accept the proposition of Asura Varnashrama, which maintains that the social order of Varna is indicated by birth. The most intimate devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, namely Gadadhar Pandit, accepted Tridanda sannyas and also accepted Madhva Upadhyaya as his Tridandi sannyasi disciple. It is said that from this Madhvacharya, the sampradaya known in Western India as the Balabhacharya sampradaya has begun. Srila Gopal Bhattat Goswami, who is known as the Smrityacharya in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, later accepted the Tridanda sannyas order from Tridandipad Prabodhananda Saraswati. Although acceptance of Tridanda sannyas is not distinctly mentioned in the Gaudiya Vaishnava literature, the first verse of Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita advocates that one should accept the Tridanda sannyas order by controlling the 6 forces. Please repeat. Vacho vegam manasakrodha vegam chihva vegam udarapasta vegam itan vegan yo vishaheta dhira sarvam apimam prativim sashishyad. One who can control the forces of speech, mind, anger, belly, tongue, and genitals is known as a Goswami and is competent to accept disciples all over the world. The followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never accepted the Mayavad order of sannyas, and for this they cannot be blamed. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Sridhar Swami, who is a Tridandi sannyasi, but the Mayavadi sannyasis, not understanding Sridhar Swami, sometimes think that Sridhar Swami belonged to the Mayavad Ekadanda sannyas community. Actually, this was not the case. Prabhu kahe, Sadhu e bhikshura vachana, mukunda sevana brato, kaila nirdharana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved the purport of this verse on account of the determination of the mendicant devotee to engage in the service of Lord Mukunda. He gave his approval of this verse, indicating that it was very good. The real purpose of accepting sannyas is to dedicate oneself to the service of Mukunda. By serving Mukunda, one can actually be liberated from the bondage of material existence. Purport. In this connection, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the sannyas order and recommended the determination of the Avantipur Bhikshu to engage in the service of Mukunda. He accepted the Brahmana's version due to his determination to serve Mukunda. The sannyasi dress is actually an attraction for material formality. The sannyasi dress is actually an attraction for material formality. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not like such formality, but he wanted the essence of it, service to Mukunda. Such determination in any condition is called paratmanishta. That is required. The conclusion is that the sannyas order depends not on the dress, but the determination to serve Mukunda. Text number 9. After accepting the sannyas order, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to go to Vrindavan and engage himself wholly and solely in the service of Mukunda in a solitary place. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was en route to Vrindavan, all the ecstatic symptoms became manifest, and he did not know in which direction he was going, nor did he know whether it was day or night. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went toward Vrindavan, Nityananda Prabhu, Chandrasekhar, and Prabhu Mukunda followed him. Who followed him? Correct. Jai Jai Prabhu Deke, She She Lok, Prima Beshe Hari Boli, Kande Dukha Shok. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through Radhadesh, whoever saw him in ecstasy exclaimed, Hari Hari. As they chanted this with the Lord, all the unhappiness of material existence diminished. All the cowherd boys who saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passing joined with him and began to shout loudly. When he heard all the cowherd boys also chanting, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. He approached them, put his hand on their heads and said, Go on chanting like that. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus blessed them all, saying that they were all fortunate. In this way he praised them, and he felt very successful because they had chanted the holy name of Lord Hari. Calling all the boys in confidence and telling a reasonable story, Nityananda Prabhu instructed them as follows. If Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks you about the path to Vrindavan, please show him the path on the bank of the Ganges instead. When the cowherd boys were questioned by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the path to Vrindavan, the boys showed him the path on the bank of the Ganges, and the Lord went that way in ecstasy. As the Lord proceeded along the bank of the Ganges, Sri Nityananda Prabhu requested Acharya Ratna, Chandrasekhar Acharya, to go immediately to the house of Advaita Acharya. Sri Nityananda Goswami told him, I shall take Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the bank of the Ganges at Shantipur, and Advaita Acharya should carefully stay there on shore with a boat. After that, Nityananda Prabhu continued, I shall go to Advaita Acharya's house, and you should go to Navadvip and return with Mother Sachi and all the other devotees. After sending Acharya Ratna to the house of Advaita Acharya, Sri Nityananda Prabhu went before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and gave notice of his coming. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy, and he asked where Nityananda Prabhu was going. Nityananda replied that he was going with him toward Vrindavan. When the Lord asked Nityananda Prabhu how far it was to Vrindavan, Nityananda replied, "Just see, here's the river Jamuna." Saying this, Nityananda Prabhu took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu near the Ganges, and the Lord, in his ecstasy, accepted the river Ganges as the river Jamuna. The Lord said, "Oh, what good fortune! Now I have seen the river Jamuna." Thus thinking the Ganges to be the river Jamuna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to offer prayers to it. O river Jamuna, you are the blissful spiritual water that gives love to the son of Nanda Maharaj. You are the same as the water of the spiritual world, for you can vanquish all our offenses and the sinful reactions incurred in life. You are the creator of all auspicious things for the world. O daughter of the sun god, kindly purify us by your pious activities. This verse is recorded in the Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka by Kavi Karnapur. After reciting this mantra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered obeisances and took his bath in the Ganges. At that time, he had on only one piece of underwear, for there was no second garment. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing there without a second garment, Sri Advaita Acharya arrived in a boat, bringing with him new underwear and external garments. When Advaita Acharya arrived, he stood before the Lord and offered his obeisances. After seeing him, the Lord began to wonder about the entire situation. Still in his ecstasy, the Lord asked Advaita Acharya, "Why did you come here? How did you know I was in Vrindavan?" Advaita Acharya disclosed the whole situation, telling Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "Wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. Now it is my great fortune that you have come to the bank of the Ganges." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, "Nityananda has cheated me. He has brought me to the bank of the Ganges and told me that it was the Jamuna." When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accused Nityananda of cheating him, Srila Advaita Acharya said, "Whatever Nityananda Prabhu has told you is not false. You have indeed just now taken your bath in the river Jamuna." Advaita Acharya then explained that at that spot the Ganges and Jamuna flow together. On the western side was the Jamuna, and on the eastern side was the Ganges. Purport: the Ganges and Jamuna mix at the confluence at Allahabad, Prayag. The Jamuna flows from the western side and the Ganges from the eastern, and they merge. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed on the western side, he actually took his bath in the river Jamuna. Advaita Acharya then suggested that since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken his bath in the river Jamuna and his underwear was now wet, the Lord should change his underwear for dry garments. Advaita Acharya said, "You have been fasting continuously for 3 days in your ecstasy of love for Krishna. I therefore invite you to my home, where you may kindly take your alms. Come with me to my residence." Advaita Prabhu continued, "At my home I have cooked 1 palmful of rice. The vegetables are always very simple. There is no luxurious cooking, simply a little liquid vegetable and spinach." Saying this, Sri Advaita Acharya took the Lord into the boat and brought the Lord to his residence. There Advaita Acharya washed the feet of the Lord and was consequently very happy within. All the eatables were first cooked by the wife of Advaita Acharya. Then Srila Advaita Acharya personally offered everything to Lord Vishnu. Purport: this is the ideal householder's life. The husband and wife live together, and the husband works very hard to secure paraphernalia for worshipping Lord Vishnu. The wife at home cooks a variety of foods for Lord Vishnu, and the husband offers it to the deity. After that, artik is performed, and the prasadam is distributed amongst family members and guests. According to the Vedic principles, there must always be a guest in a householder's home. In my childhood, I have actually seen my father receive not less than 4 guests every day, and in those days my father's income was not very great. Nonetheless, there was no difficulty in offering prasadam to at least 4 guests every day. According to Vedic principles, a householder, before taking lunch, should go outside and shout very loudly to see if there is anyone without food. In this way, he invites people to take prasadam. If someone comes, the householder offers him prasadam, and if there is not much left, he should offer his own portion to the guest. If no one responds to his call, the householder can accept his own lunch. Thus, the householder's life is also a kind of austerity. Because of this, the householder's life is called grihastha ashrama. Although a person may live with his wife and children happily in Krishna consciousness, he also observes the regulative principles followed in the temple, in any temple. If there is no Krishna consciousness, the householder's abode is called grihamedi, house. Householders in Krishna consciousness are actually grihasthas. That is, those living in the ashrama with their families and children. Sri Advaita Prabhu was an ideal grihastha, and his house was the ideal grihastha ashrama. All the prepared food was divided into 3 equal parts. One part was arranged on a metal plate for offering to Lord Krishna. Purport: the word badhaila, meaning increased, is very significant in this verse. It is a sophisticated word used by the grihasthas in Bengal. Whenever food is prepared and we take away a portion, the food is actually decreased. But here it is the system to say badhaila, or increased. If food is prepared for Krishna and offered to him and the Vaishnavas, the stock is increased, never decreased. Of the 3 divisions, one was arranged on a metal plate, and the other 2 were arranged on plantain leaves. These leaves were not bifurcated, and they were taken from a banana tree that held at least 32 bunches of bananas. The 2 plates were filled very nicely with the kinds of food described below. The cooked rice was a stack of very fine grains, nicely cooked, and in the middle was yellow clarified butter from the milk of cows. Surrounding the stack of rice were pots made of the skins of banana trees, and in these pots were varieties of vegetables and mung dal. Among the cooked vegetables were patolas, squash, manakachu, and a salad made with pieces of ginger and various types of spinach. There was sukta, bitter melon mixed with all kinds of vegetables, defying the taste of nectar. There were 5 types of bitter and pungent suktas. Amongst the various vegetables were newly grown leaves of nimba trees fried with eggplant. The fruit known as patola was fried with pulabadi, a kind of dal preparation first mashed and then dried in the sun. There was also a preparation known as kushmanda manakachi. Purport: we request our editors of cookbooks to add all these nice preparations described by the experienced author, Srila Kaviraj Goswami. The preparation made with coconut pulp mixed with curd and rock candy was very sweet. There was a curry made of banana flowers and squash boiled in milk, all in great quantity. There were small cakes in sweet and sour sauce and 5 or 6 kinds of sour preparations. All the vegetables were so made that everyone present could take prasadam. There were soft cakes made with mung dal, soft cakes made with ripe bananas, and soft cakes made with urd dal. There were various kinds of sweetmeats, condensed milk mixed with rice cakes, a coconut preparation, and every kind of cake desirable. All the vegetables were served in pots made of banana leaves taken from trees producing at least 32 bunches of bananas. These pots were very strong and big and did not tilt or totter. All around the 3 eating places were 100 pots filled with various kinds of vegetables. along with the various vegetables was sweet rice mixed with ghee. This was kept in new earthen pots. Earthen pots filled with highly condensed milk were placed in 3 places. Besides the other preparations, there were chipped rice made with milk and mixed with bananas, and also white squash boiled in milk. Indeed, it is not possible to describe all the preparations that were made. In 2 places there were earthen pots filled with another preparation made with yogurt, sandesh, a sweetmeat made with yogurt, and banana. I'm unable to describe it all. Upon the stack of boiled rice and all the vegetables were flowers of the tulsi trees. There were also pots filled with scented rosewater. There were 3 sitting places where soft cloths were placed. Thus Lord Krishna was offered all the food, and the Lord took it very pleasantly. It is the system after offering food to perform Bhoga Arti. Advaita Prabhu asked the 2 brothers, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, to come see the Arti. The 2 lords and all others present went to see the Artik ceremony. After Artik was performed for the deities in the temple, Lord Krishna was made to lie down to rest. Advaita Acharya then came out to submit something to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Advaita Prabhu said, My dear lords, kindly enter this room. The 2 brothers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, then came forward to take the prasadam. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu went to accept the prasadam, they both called Mukunda and Haridas to come with them. However, Mukunda and Haridas, both with folded hands, spoke as follows. When Mukunda was called for, he submitted, My dear sir, I have something to do that is not yet finished. Later I shall accept the prasadam, so you 2 Prabhus should now please enter the room. Haridas Thakur said, I am the most sinful and lowest among men. Later I shall eat 1 palmful of prasadam while waiting outside. Purport. Although the Hindus and Muslims lived together in a very friendly manner, still there were distinctions between them. The Muslims were considered yavanas or lowborn, and whenever a Muslim was invited, he would be fed outside of the house. Although personally called by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu to take prasadam with them, still, although Haridas Thakur was an exalted Vaishnava accepted by Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu nonetheless, in order not to disturb social tranquility, he humbly kept himself in the position of a Muslim, outside the jurisdiction of the Hindu community. Therefore he proposed to take prasadam outside the house. Although he was in an exalted position and equal to other great Vaishnavas, he considered himself a papishta, a most sinful man, and Adhama, the lowest among men. Although a Vaishnava may be very advanced spiritually, he keeps himself externally humble and submissive. Advaita Acharya took Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu within the room, and the 2 lords saw the arrangement of the prasadam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was especially very pleased. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was pleased because he saw how nicely so many varieties of food were prepared for Krishna. Actually, all kinds of prasadam are prepared for Krishna, not for the people, but the devotees partake of prasadam with great pleasure. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved of all the methods employed in cooking and offering food to Krishna. Indeed, he was so pleased that he said, Frankly, I will personally take the lotus feet of anyone who can offer Krishna such nice food and place those lotus feet on my head, birth after birth. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the room, he saw 3 divisions of food, and he knew that all of these were meant for Krishna. However, he did not understand the intentions of Advaita Acharya. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that one of these servings was offered in a metal dish and was meant for Krishna, whereas the other two were placed on big banana leaves. The offering on the metal plate was personally offered by Vaisesika to Krishna. The other two servings on banana leaves were to be accepted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. That was Advaita Acharya's intention. But he did not disclose this to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the food offered in 3 places, he thought that all of it was meant for Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Let us sit down in these 3 places, and we shall take prasadam." However, Advaita Acharya said, "I shall distribute the prasadam." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that all 3 servings were meant for distribution. Therefore he asked for another 2 banana leaves, saying, "Let us have a very little quantity of vegetable and rice." Advaita Acharya said, "Just sit down here on these seats." Catching their hands, he sat them both down. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "It is not proper for a sannyasi to eat such a variety of foods. If he does, how can he control his senses?" Purport. The word upakarana indicates a variety of foods, such as dal, vegetables, and other varieties of possible dishes that one can eat very nicely with rice. It is not proper, however, for a sannyasi to eat such palatable dishes. If he did so, he would not be able to control his senses. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not encourage sannyasis to eat very palatable dishes, for the whole Vaishnava cult is Vairagya Vidya, as renounced as possible. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also advised Raghunath Das Goswami not to eat very palatable dishes, wear very nice garments, or talk on mundane subjects. These things are all prohibited for those in the renounced order. A devotee does not accept anything to eat that is not first offered to Krishna. All the rich foods offered to Krishna are given to the grahastas, the householders. There are many nice things offered to Krishna: garlands, bedsteads, nice ornaments, nice food, and even nicely prepared pan, betel nuts. But a humble Vaishnava, thinking his body material and nasty, does not accept such preparations for himself. He thinks that by accepting such things he will offend the lotus feet of the Lord. Those who are sahajiyas cannot understand what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meant when he asked Advaita Acharya to bring 2 separate leaves and give a small quantity of the prasadam to him. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept the food that had already been served, Advaita Acharya said, "Please give up your concealment. I know what you are, and I know the confidential meaning of your accepting the sannyas order." Advaita Acharya thus requested Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to eat and give up juggling words. The Lord replied, "I certainly cannot eat so much food." Advaita Acharya then requested the Lord to simply accept the prasadam without pretense. If he could not eat it all, the balance could be left on the plate. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I will not be able to eat so much food, and it is not the duty of a sannyasi to leave remnants." Purport. According to Srimad Bhagavatam 11:18-19, whatever edibles a sannyasi gets from a householder's house, he should take outside near some lake or river, and after offering the food to Vishnu, Brahma, and the sun, 3 divisions, he should eat the entire offering and not leave anything for others to eat. In this connection, Advaita Acharya referred to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's eating at Jagannath Puri. Lord Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are identical. Advaita Acharya pointed out that at Jagannath Puri, Mahaprabhu ate 54 times a day, and each time he ate many hundreds of pots of food. Sri Advaita Acharya said, "The amount of food that 3 people can eat does not constitute even a morsel for you. In proportion to that, these edibles are not even 5 morsels of food for you." Advaita Acharya continued, "By my great fortune, you have just come to my home. Please do not juggle words. Just begin eating and do not talk." Upon saying this, Advaita Acharya supplied water to the two lords so they could wash their hands. The two lords then sat down and, smiling, began to eat the prasadam. Nityananda Prabhu said, I have undergone fasting for 3 days continuously. Today I had hoped to break my fast. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking that the quantity of food was enormous, Nityananda Prabhu, on the contrary, thought it not even a morsel. He had been fasting for 3 days and had greatly hoped to break fast on that day. Indeed, he said, although I am invited to eat by Advaita Acharya, today also is a fast. So small a quantity of food will not fill even half my belly. Advaita Acharya replied, Sir, you are a mendicant traveling on pilgrimage. Sometimes you eat fruits and roots, and sometimes you simply go on fasting. I am a poor brahmana, and you have come to my house. Please be satisfied with whatever little food you have received and give up your greedy mentality. Lord Nityananda Prabhu replied, Whatever I may be, you have invited me. Therefore, you must supply as much as I want to eat. His Divine Grace, Advaita Acharya, after hearing the statement of Nityananda Prabhu, took the opportunity presented by the joking words and spoke to him as follows. Advaita Acharya said, You are a reject Paramahamsa, and you have accepted a renounced order of life just to fill up your belly. I can understand that your business is to give trouble to brahmanas. Purport. There is always a difference of opinion between a Smarta Brahmana and a Vaishnav Goswami. There are even Smarta opinions and Vaishnav Goswami opinions available in astrological and astronomical calculations. By calling Nityananda Prabhu a Brashta Avaduta, a rejected Paramahamsa, Advaita Acharya Prabhu in a sense accepted Nityananda Prabhu as a Paramahamsa. In other words, Nityananda Prabhu had nothing to do with the rules governing Smarta Brahmanas. Thus, under pretense of condemning him, Advaita Acharya was actually praising him. In the Avaduta stage, the Paramahamsa stage, which is the supermost stage, one may appear to be Vishayi on the platform of sense gratification, but in actuality, he has nothing to do with sense gratification. At that stage, a person sometimes accepts the symbols and dress of a sannyasi, and sometimes does not. Sometimes he dresses like a householder. We should know, however, that these are all joking words between Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu. They are not to be taken as insults. In Kadadaha, where? Sometimes people misunderstood Nityananda Prabhu to belong to the Shakta Sampradaya, whose philosophy is Anta Shakta Bahi Shaiva Sabhayam Vaishnavo Mata. According to the Shakta Sampradaya, a person called a Kalavaduta thinks materially while externally appearing to be a great devotee of Lord Shiva. When such a person is in an assembly of Vaishnavas, he appears like a Vaishnav. Actually, Nityananda Prabhu did not belong to such a community. Nityananda Prabhu was always a brahmachari of a sannyasi of the Vaidika order. Actually, he was a Paramahamsa. Sometimes he is accepted to be a disciple of Lakshmipati Tirtha. If he is so accepted, Nityananda Prabhu belonged to the Madhva Sampradaya. He did not belong to the Tantrika Sampradaya of Bengal. Advaita Acharya accused Nityananda Prabhu, saying, You can eat 10 to 20 manas of rice. I am a poor brahmana. How shall I get so much rice? Purport of mana is a measurement containing about 40 kilos. I'm sorry, 4. 4 kilos? 40. A mana is a measurement containing 40 kilos. Who's got 4? It's a lot of rice. Whatever you have, though it be a palmful of rice, please eat it and get up. Don't show your madness and strew the remnants of food here and there. In this way, Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ate and talked with Advaita Acharya jokingly. After eating half of each vegetable preparation given to him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu abandoned it and went on to the next. As soon as half of the vegetable in the pot was finished, Advaita Acharya filled it up again. In this way, as the Lord finished half of a preparation, Advaita Acharya again and again filled it up. After filling a pot with vegetables, Advaita Acharya requested them to eat more, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "How much more can I go on eating?" Advaita Acharya said, "Please do not give up whatever I have already given you. Now, whatever I am giving, you may eat half and leave half." In this way, by submitting various humble requests, Advaita Acharya made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. After saying this, Nityananda Prabhu took a handful of rice and threw it on the floor in front of him, as if he was angry. When 2 or 4 pieces of the thrown rice touched his body, Advaita Acharya began to dance in various ways, with the rice still stuck to his body. When the rice thrown by Nityananda Prabhu touched his body, Advaita Acharya thought himself purified by the touch of remnants thrown by Paramahamsa Nityananda. Therefore he began dancing. Purport. The word avaduta refers to one above all rules and regulations. Sometimes, not observing all the rules and regulations of a sannyasi, Nityananda Prabhu exhibited the behavior of a mad avaduta. He threw the remnants of food on the ground, and some of these remnants touched the body of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya accepted this happily because he presented himself as a member of the community of Smarta Brahmanas. By touching the remnants of food thrown by Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya immediately felt himself purified of all Smarta contamination. The remnants of food left by a pure Vaishnava are called Maha Maha Prasadam. This is completely spiritual and is identified with Lord Vishnu. Such remnants are not ordinary. The spiritual master is to be considered on the stage of Paramahamsa and beyond the jurisdiction of the Varnashram institution. The remnants of food left by the spiritual master and similar Paramahamsas or pure Vaishnavas are purifying. When an ordinary person touches such prasadam, his mind is purified and his mind is raised to the status of pure Brahmana. The behavior and statements of Advaita Acharya are meant for the understanding of ordinary people who are unaware of the strength of spiritual values, not knowing the potency of food left by the bona fide spiritual master and pure Vaishnavas. Advaita Acharya jokingly said, "My dear Nityananda, I invited you, and indeed I have received the results. You have no fixed caste or dynasty. By nature, you are a madman." Purport. The words Sahaje Pagala, by nature a madman, indicate that Nityananda Prabhu was transcendentally situated on the Paramahamsa stage. Because he always remembered Radha Krishna and their service, this was transcendental madness. Sri Advaita Acharya was pointing out this fact. To make me a madman like yourself, you have thrown the remnants of your food at me. You did not even fear the fact that I am a Brahmana. Purport. The words Apanarasama indicate that Advaita Acharya considered himself to belong to the Smarta Brahmanas, and he considered Nityananda Prabhu to be on the transcendental stage with pure Vaishnavas. Lord Nityananda gave Advaita Acharya his remnants to situate him on the same platform and make him a pure unalloyed Vaishnav Paramahamsa. Advaita Acharya's statement indicates that a Paramahamsa Vaishnava is transcendently situated. A pure Vaishnava is not subject to the rules and regulations of the Smarta Brahmanas. That was the reason for Advaita Acharya's stating, Apanara sama more karibaritari, to raise me to your own standard. A pure Vaishnav or a person on the Paramahamsa stage accepts the remnants of food, Mahaprasadam, as spiritual. He does not consider it to be material or sense gratifying. He accepts Mahaprasadam not as ordinary dal and rice, but as spiritual substance. To say nothing of the remnants of food left by a pure Vaishnava, prasadam is never polluted, even if it is touched by the mouth of a Chandala. Indeed, it retains its spiritual value. Therefore, by eating or touching such Mahaprasadam, a Brahmana is not degraded. There is no question of being polluted by touching the remnants of such food. Actually, by eating such Mahaprasadam, one is freed from all the contaminations of the material condition. That is the verdict of the Shastras. Everyone okay? Yes? Keep going? Never stop? Nityananda Prabhu replied. Keep it way over there, okay? A little further back. But by that screen. These are the remnants of food left by Lord Krishna. If you take them to be ordinary remnants, you have committed an offense. Purport. In the Brihad Vishnu Purana, where? It is stated that one who considers Mahaprasadam to be equal to ordinary rice and dal certainly commits a great offense. Ordinary edibles are touchable and untouchable, but there are no such dualistic considerations where prasadam is concerned. Prasadam is transcendental, and there are no transformations or contaminations, just as there are no contaminations or transformations in the body of Lord Vishnu himself. Thus, even if one is a Brahmana, he is certain to be attacked by leprosy and bereft of all family members if he makes such dualistic considerations. Such an offender goes to hell, never to return. This is the injunction of the Brihad Vishnu Purana. Does anybody remember the first time they got Mahaprasadam? One person? When was it, Satyadev Prabhu? You got to give him the microphone because this is going to be profound.
I'm at the, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was in Tokyo working, and during my lunch break I met the devotees, and they invited me back to the temple. I'd never seen devotees before. And they said, you should stay overnight because at midnight we're having a big feast. It's Krishna's birthday. And so I went back to the temple, and the feast had been cooked by Kirtananda Swami. And there was samosas, and there was pushpa rice.
Pushpana rice?
Pushpana rice, tomato chutney, gulab jamuns.
Haribo.
Simply Wonderfuls.
Hari Hari.
Eggplant sabji. And that's all I can remember now.
Thank you very much, Satyadev Prabhu. Malati Prabhu, what's the first Mahaprasadam you got? Wait, hold on.
I consider it Mahaprasad. It was January 17th, 1967, from the hands of Srila Prabhupada, a piece of orange.
Where was that?
San Francisco.
And what occasion?
The day of his arrival.
And how did you get the orange?
I put out my hand.
Did he cut them up personally?
Pardon?
Did he cut them up himself?
No, the plate, after he spoke, a plate appeared with cut up fruit.
Yeah.
And the people from New York knew the routine. The rest of us didn't, but then we quickly caught on because Prabhupada picked out a piece and he just, like that, without saying take, he was indicating take, and then people came up with their hands. And the thing that was so amazing, that even though it was just like you got one small piece of fruit, a piece of orange or an apple, you were so immensely satisfied. It was better than a huge, giant plate.
Nagar?
I remember probably the most significant experience I had with prasadam was very early on. I was going to the Sunday feast at this devotees program, Amritanam, and he had a lot extra after the Sunday feast at one point, and I ended up just buying the whole thing. I just gave him $20 and I got all the leftovers, so that lasted me like a whole week, and basically I just kept eating prasadam all week long, and it really just it got my mind kind of stuck on the temple. Like, I was just always thinking about Amritanam, the temple, the program, and I was eating the prasadam, and it was powerful. I mean, I remember another time, it was probably even before that, I took prasadam once at that program, and I came back from the program and I felt like I became really strong or something. I was like, I was riding a skateboard, but when I rode to the center, it was like a normal ride. But on the way back, after the prasadam and the kirtan and everything, I was like going faster than I've ever. I wasn't going downhill, but somehow I was able to just really power through with this. I don't know. I could feel like there was like some really intense energy coming from that prasadam, and I was getting kind of like, well, this is something I have to, take more regularly.
Havi Prabhu? Thank you, Naga.
In 1971, I was living in Israel, and I had the chance to meet Krishna Devi and Dinesh Chandra. They were sent to Israel to preach. And Krishna Devi was the first one who did the rectangular black and white cookbook, the first one in ISKCON. And the first time that I went to their house, I met the whole thing, Krishna, prasadam, just a sample, and the temple, Panchatattva. And then I understood that Dinesh Chandra was saying that he was the one who recorded Prabhupada's lectures before Krishna Kanti in Los Angeles. So I heard Prabhupada's voice for the first time. I was captivated. And then she said, "You come in 2 days here, and we will have a festival here." And I said, "Okay." So I arrived 2 days later, and there were at least 35 preparations, and the festival was amazing. Now, guess how many guests they had? One. I was the only one there, and I was the only one who met for the first time His Holiness Halava. That's how I became a devotee through the tongue, and I'm happy to admit it. Yeah.
Shima Prasad ki jai. Okay, 2 more, and then we got to do our Gita.
At Amritanam's programs at the Bhakti Vine, I remember the first kirtan that I was in, we were just dancing like anything. And then he sat us all down, and he would have these 4 hot pans. He just had this whole setup. He had these 4 hot pans, and they were full to the brim with prasadam. And I'd never seen any of the food stuff that he had prepared. I'd never seen food like that. And when we were talking about Srila Prabhupada, how Prabhupada's mood was take, that's the first time I ever experienced that mood was with Amritanam, and he would I would finish a porridge just like a Dvaitacharya also. Mahaprabhu would eat half of a preparation, then he'd fill it up again. So suddenly I'd eat half of the, rice, whatever, and he'd refill me, and then more halava, more puris, more halava, more, And he also would have these peanut butter bliss discs. They were just these really large peanut butter cookies made with Crisco vegetable but they were so awesome, and and he'd just have huge stacks of these cookies, and I just take stacks of them home, and I eat so many of those bliss discs.
Bliss disc ki jai, Amritanam ki jai.
I remember, just because thinking back of it, I remember when I was with my father in Miami Beach in Lincoln Road. I was 7 years old. We saw the Harinam, and my father always liked to go and dance with them, and he would embarrass me by pulling me in and dancing. But then the devotees had these sesame sweets, and they gave it to me. Later I found out that was Siddha Vidya Prabhu who was doing the Harinam there. And then as we were walking away, my father had a conversation with the devotees. He goes, they're really devoted to God. They're very powerful. Don't ever mess with them. He said to me.
Sesame sweets.
Yeah.
Ki jai.
Jai.
Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, hey, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman.